right, it is 6 o'clock on Monday, November 4th. We'll call our meeting to order and start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we've got a lot of ground to cover tonight, so let's get started. Can we have the roll call, please?
Simonson, Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister,
Yes.
Coolman, Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett, yes.
All right, item 4 is approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Colister, seconded by Bennett. If there's no discussion, take the roll.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Rickrell,
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item 5 is public participation. Do we have anybody in the audience who wishes to address the council? I'm going to ask that you introduce yourself and keep it to 3 minutes at the most.
I'll keep this short tonight. Tom Durrell, just revisiting the fireworks that you're considering amending. Very pleased with July 3rd and 4th. I ask you to maybe have some discussion and consideration of limiting the hours of that so it's not all day long. I would recommend 5 p.m. start time for fireworks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the council? Anyone on Zoom? If not, we'll move on to presentations. We have a presentation from Sikich by Nick Bava.
This is our audit team lead for our financial audit firm. So just wanted to introduce Nick Bava from Sikich.
I'll never pronounce that right.
That's okay. Nick, you just let me know what you want me to scroll through here.
Sounds good. Good evening, Mayor, members of council. Thank you for having me here tonight. My name is Nick Bava, as Josh said. I'm a partner at Sikich and the lead partner that oversaw the city's audit. So here to present the results and deliverables for the city's June 30th, 2024 audit. So ultimately, as part of each audit process, we have a handful of reports for your review and approval tonight. Of those documents, the annual financial report, which is the audit document, we issue the auditor's communication to the city council, and we issued a single audit report, which is consistent with the last couple of fiscal years as well. Additionally, we assist with the Iowa Department of Transportation Street Finance Report, as well as the annual financial report that is submitted through the Department of Management. So I've prepared a brief presentation that's condensed down to a few pages. Josh is going to take us through. I'd be happy to address any questions on any of the reports that you may have as part of this year's audit process. So first things first, we'll cover the opinion in the annual financial report, which Josh has in front of us. So this is our opinion on the financial statements. It essentially articulates the level of assurance that we've opined on as far as the June 30th, 2024 fiscal year end is concerned. So the highlighted information, first paragraph there just documents the opinion units is what we call them. So your governmental activities, those are general fund, road use tax fund. Business type activities are the water and sewer utility funds, those funds. Additionally, the discreetly presented component unit is the Maquoketa Municipal Electric Utility, as well as all of the major funds and other aggregate remaining fund information. So there's a lot of auditing with all of the funds that's going on here at the city. So those are the opinion units that we cover as part of the audit process. I do want to point out that the electrical utility is audited by a separate firm. We do include those financial statements in this document, but we are just we document that we don't issue any assurance on those financial statements. Second paragraph there, in our opinion, we've issued what is referred to as an unmodified opinion over the city's cash basis financial statements. So the unmodified opinion is the highest level of assurance that we can provide as part of an annual audit. So it represents a clean opinion and represents that these financial statements can be relied on, for whatever purpose is needed. So all good news as far as the financial statement opinion is concerned. So next section, Josh. This is the independent auditor's report in accordance with government auditing standards. So depending on the level of grant spending that occurs at a unit of local government, you may or may not come across a opinion in relation to the government auditing standards. So historically, in our involvement working with the city, there's always been a great volume of grant activity, which the city has exceeded the threshold for needing this particular opinion. So overall, pointing out the key items in these 2 pages are right on the bottom there. As far as our report on internal controls over financial reporting, we didn't identify any deficiencies that we would consider to be material weaknesses, which is what you want to see. And then on the next page, Josh, the report on compliance and other matters, the additional tests that we had to undergo relative to the government auditing standards requirements didn't indicate any instances of non-compliance or question costs that we needed to disclose as part of that process. So all good news as far as the financial statement opinions go. So the 2 statements I just wanted to point out on the city's financial statements. The statement of net position, again, this is reported on the cash basis. So this is the consolidated financial statements based on those opinion units we discussed. Overall, you'll see that it's offset between your assets, your cash and investments, offset with net positions. So overall, $12.7 million in net position. That's categorized from least liquid to most liquid. So your restricted net positions are items that have to be spent on a particular purpose, and those are itemized there, followed by your unrestricted net position, which can be utilized for whatever purpose council and management sees fit on that end. So that's your balance sheet as of June 30th, 2024. Next page, Josh. This is your income statement. We call it the statement of activities. These are your revenues over expenses for the year. So overall, highlighting that there is a positive change in each of those opinion units. So overall governmental activities it had an increase in net position of $525,000, business type activities $337,000, and then the municipal electric utility had a small decrease, just of about $200,000. So overall, good year for the city, up $860,000 in overall net position. So that's the city's annual financial report. The next report I would like to touch on is the single audit report. So friendly reminder on what the single audit report documents: anytime a unit of local government spends greater than $750,000 in federal grant money, we're required to audit that particular grant that drove the city to spend beyond that threshold. So that's what we refer to as a single audit. So scrolling through, the first item on the single audit report is our opinion, and we have an opinion for each major federal program. So a major federal program is a grant that goes beyond that $750,000 in terms of money that was spent during the fiscal year. So there was one program that exceeded that threshold. We'll show you that here shortly. But good news as far as our tests were concerned. In our opinion, we did not identify any instances of non-compliance or question costs in accordance with what that particular grant program called for and the money that was spent, in relation to that grant. So that's the opinion on the single audit. The next page is the schedule of expenditure of federal awards. So this is a great visual in terms of documenting the federal grant money that was spent during the fiscal year. You'll note right at the top that the major program of $3.5 million was what drove the single audit this year. Overall, the city expended $4.5 million in federal dollars. $3.5 million was spent through the Environmental Protection Agency on the wastewater treatment plant project. So we tested those expenditures, those invoices, in relation to what that grant calls for from a compliance perspective, and came with clean results. So all good news as far as the major program goes. Lastly, the single audit has a summary of auditor results here, which is kind of a great report card, if you will, over the single audit. You'll note that we categorize the summary based on the financial statement items as well as the federal award items. You want to see no essentially kind of down the board here on this. So we didn't identify any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies or non-compliance items, and that can be the same for both financial statement and federal award items. So overall, good news on the annual financial report and the single audit report, the main documents that you should be concerned with, annually as part of this process. I would just like to conclude on, I know Andrea and Judy aren't here. Overall, the audit process went extremely smoothly. It started off probably back in May or June, about a 6-month process. We were here in August doing our final fieldwork testing. So overall, the city's reports were issued on time with clean opinions. Great help from Andrea and Judy and Josh, extremely friendly and professional people to work with. So we certainly appreciate that. I know that was a lot to jam into a 5-10 minute presentation, so I'd be happy to answer any questions that you all might have relative to this process and these reports. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions?
Okay, well, thank you.
Of course. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah.
All right, next we have a public hearing, and it's a public hearing on the authorization of a loan and disbursement agreement and the issuance of notes to evidence the obligation of the cities thereunder for $1,200,000. Josh, you want to?
No, before you begin, Mayor, I see Dina Ochoa's got her hand up, and I don't believe that was up during the public participation section. Do you mind just addressing this real quick?
Sure, yeah.
Before I move on?
Yeah. Dina, are you there?
Yeah, I apologize. I couldn't find the unmute button in time. This is regarding the fireworks. Just to piggyback on what Mr. Durrell was saying of not only having the number of days limited, but the hours. It really is very disruptive. It has always been a problem for years with our younger kids and with our pets, to the point that we have to medicate our dog for an entire week, and she lives in our basement because we can't even take her outside just to do something basic like go potty. And it's really hard to predict when various people in different areas in the neighborhood are shooting them off at different times of the day. It's just at a time when we're supposed to be celebrating something with our country, when we feel like we're stuck in our homes, either because of people or our pets, just for safety issues, and people who are, probably don't have basic safety training on how to even use some of these things. It just kind of doesn't really make sense with the whole celebrating the independence of our country when we're stuck in our own homes. So I would appreciate if we could shorten the number of days and the number of hours that fireworks are allowed to be set off by the public. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, now we'll get back to the public hearing.
I don't have anything further to add to this. This is a public commentary period, and we covered a bit of this background at the last meeting.
Okay, anybody in the audience want to address anything? Anybody on Zoom?
Motion to close.
Second.
We have a motion by Colister, seconded by Lyon to close the public hearing. Do we have any discussion? Take the roll.
Colister,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon.
Yes.
Okay, the next item is a public hearing on the authorization of loan and disbursement agreement and the issuance of notes to evidence the obligation of the city hereunder for $3,200,000. Do we have anybody wish to address the council on this item? Anybody on Zoom? Anybody have anything to say about it?
Motion to close.
Okay, we have a motion by Lyon,
Second.
seconded by Bennett. And if we have no discussion, take the roll.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister.
Yes.
Okay, that motion passes. Item C is a public hearing on the authorization of the loan agreement and the issuance of notes to evidence the obligation of the city thereunder for $1 million. Anybody in the audience wish to address this? Anybody on Zoom wish to address this? Anybody on the council?
Motion to close.
Motion by Colister,
Second.
seconded by Rickrell. If there's no discussion, take the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister,
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Okay, that motion passes. Next, we have the consent agenda consisting of the October 21st regular meeting minutes and the bills payable through November 4th, 2024 in the amount of $284,152.57.
So moved.
Motion by Colister, seconded by Bennett. If we have no discussion, take the roll.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Now we make it to number 9, old business. And item A is a resolution instituting proceedings to take additional action for the authorization of a loan and disbursement agreement and the issuance of not to exceed $1,200,000 sewer revenue capital loan notes. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. We covered a bit of this background last time, and this is regarding a wastewater treatment plant second bond, which was always the plan. It's reduced from 4 due to the next item. So this is routine business. We planned for this, and paperwork's being helped through by Allers and Cooney, our bond counsel, with this, so we're ready to execute.
So moved.
Motion by Colister,
Second.
seconded by Bennett. We have any discussion? Take the roll.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
That passes. Item B is a resolution instituting proceedings to take additional action for the authorization of loan and disbursement agreement and the issuance of not to exceed $3,200,000 sewer revenue capital loan notes.
So moved.
Motion by Colister,
Second.
seconded by Rickrell. Any discussion? Then take the roll.
Colister,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item C is a resolution instituting proceedings to take additional action for the issuance of not to exceed $1 million general obligation capital loan notes. Anything you want? Okay, motion by Colister,
Second.
seconded by Bennett. If we have no discussion, take the roll.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister.
Yes.
Okay, that one passes. Item D is ordinance number 1237, amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Maquoketa, Iowa by repealing Chapter 56 pertaining to dog and cat licenses being required, and this is the second reading. Go ahead, Jeff.
Thank you, Mayor. Haven't had any public comment on this, but if there was a supermajority tonight, I'd certainly welcome it. We've had a couple calls asking if there's going to be an update to this, and just hasn't been for or against this. But we covered some ground last time describing how this has not been as an effective a program as we had thought. And so Chief and I talked just late last week about getting a chip reader, and that's the plan, as we mentioned before. And that was part of the intention here, and we'll be able to read where pets belong to that way.
Okay. We have a motion?
Moved.
Okay. Second?
Can I second?
Somebody seconded it?
Mark, second.
Oh, you
Bennett.
did? Okay, Mark seconded it. Yes.
Who made the motion? Okay,
Bennett made the
Councilman
motion.
Bennett, Councilman Lyon seconded.
thank you. Bennett,
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister,
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Okay. Item E is an ordinance number 1238, amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Maquoketa, Iowa by amending provisions pertaining to fireworks, and this is the second reading.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll just add a quick comment to this. And I work for you all, so it is your policy and your ordinance. The 5 p.m. to the final hour that's been discussed by comment tonight wasn't discussed at Public Safety Committee. But, it's not to say it can't change at a later date. And so we're on our second reading at this point on a pretty substantial change. And part of what we discussed about at the Public Safety Committee is no one's ever going to be perfectly happy with this ordinance, that it's even July 3rd or July 4th. And that next, it could be something else. So I think you've made a major step forward with this ordinance and starting this way. And it can be adjusted at a later time, but just note that that's not what this ordinance council packet communicates, the 5 p.m. start. So you can't just start with the 5 p.m. You have to think about, hey, let's get back to the first reading and modify some things. So all in all, I recommend taking this strong step forward and adopting what's in front of you. And at a later time next year, the year thereafter, if it's still an issue, you can welcome the hours change at a later time. That's my recommendation. It's for you to decide.
With respect to those that have come forward, I agree with Josh that we've made such a huge change and a leap forward with
2 days.
limiting the number of days from, down to 2, that to start all over again, that's a longer process. So I would rather, like Josh stated, continue with what we're doing now, and then at a later time, we could go to Safety Committee and revise that again.
I think it's a good plan. I mean, government moves slow. That's what it's designed to do. Everything takes time. So, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
motion by Rickrell, seconded by Bennett. If there's no more discussion, take the roll.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. You want to do third reading?
Mayor, we don't have a supermajority tonight.
Okay, all right. Item F is an ordinance 1239, amending Chapter 78 golf cart operation of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Maquoketa, Iowa. And this, too, is the second reading.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
motion by Colister, seconded by Bennett. Anything you want to add?
Alinger.
Oh, Alinger. Anything you want to add, Josh?
Negative.
Okay, then take the roll.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item G is ordinance number 1240, amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Maquoketa, Iowa by adding a new subsection, amending offenses of administrative traffic enforcement. And this is the second reading. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I really don't have a ton to add. This is a catch-all kind of violation section for administrative traffic enforcement that gives the police a little bit more flexibility in enforcing this golf cart code.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Colister, seconded by Bennett. If we have no discussion, take the roll.
Colister,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. We make it to item 10, which is new business. And A is an ordinance amending Chapter 99, sewer service charges of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Maquoketa, Iowa. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. A lot of fun stuff on the agenda tonight, but this one's a little bit more difficult. This one is part of us getting into a position where our local option sales tax income doesn't necessarily support the utility funds as it has the past 2 or 3 years since I've been here, because those funds were very small. Now is your time to consider how do you back out of that, and that's been suggested by our consultant from our goal setting, and we talked about this just a little bit and trying to make sure that the utility funds stand on their own 2 feet. What's proposed in front of you is in front of the Finance and Personnel Committee several times, and none of this is easy, and examples of cities having problems with this are pretty common as far as this wastewater plant problem. But what we've experienced as City Hall and you've experienced as City Council is nothing really wholly in your control. There's been EPA and DNR mandates that have caused technology upgrades, that have caused us to have signed a $16 million construction contract. And paying back that $16 million construction contract over 30 years is quite the challenge. What was tasked by our Finance and Personnel Committee was try to make sure that you're keeping these numbers under 10%. And then how do you do that with the rates? We decided to focus on a fee mandate and calling it out specifically as an EPA/DNR cause on utility bills, which you've already seen in the form of $5 for residential per month. On the water rate side, we did keep that under 10% that you see. But what we're proposing tonight regarding this item of business is taken from 5 to 10 residential and 750 commercial to 15. And to be fair, I thought it was going to be much worse than that. You can take that for what it's worth, and that's a subjective statement. I tried painting a picture of what this would look like for a young family of 4. My utility bill with a usage of 404, which is above the minimum. And you can see on the chart in page 5 what the cost impact would be from year to year as a basic estimate of what someone might be able to experience by 2030. And cost of living is normal. It's part of what we do as business and passing rates and moving on. I don't think that this is a draconian increase like what was proposed when I was first here in year 1, where they were asking us to come up with a 25% increase across the board. Next year, a 20%. And I have mentioned Grandma Loretta to you a few times. She's real, and she's on fixed income, and that's my grandma, and we'd have plenty of those in our community calling you, and plenty in the community coming to City Hall to communicate with us that this isn't a realistic increase. And I feel like since inflation's calmed down some, wages are catching up as well as they can. We're not going to necessarily be the first in the door grabbing a whole ton of increase here. This is, I think, kind of a step plan that's reasonable for the community to absorb over the next several years. And this is all in order to make sure that our local option sales tax isn't dedicated to the utility funds, because it's a smart thing to do to have it outside of that. I don't know if you guys want to discuss a little bit further, but this is kind of a heavier decision, but one that's been covered, I think, by several meetings at this point.
Anybody? Okay, we have a motion by Lyon,
Second.
seconded by Colister. Do we have any discussion on this matter? Not, take the roll.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item B is an ordinance amending Chapter 29 water rates of the Code of Ordinances for the city of Maquoketa, Iowa. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Just related to my previous comments, the objective was to stay under 10% across the board. And we've done that here and kept with our internal reserve policy of at least 25%. And these numbers are what gets you there. There's really not a lot of negotiating at this point to keep that reserve. That's what you're looking at for our recommendation.
Okay.
So moved.
Motion by Colister,
Second.
seconded by Rickrell. Any discussion? Take the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister,
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item C is a resolution amending the employee handbook, section 11.1 vacation accrual method, 11.2 vacation use, and section 12.1 sick leave accrual. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. In our personnel handbook, it's still written that the city staff accrues vacation relative to their experience years. And we still get vacation relative to experience years, but we went to a block giveaway of vacation at this point. It's been that way for a couple years. So when we were going through and preparing for our union negotiations, this is one of the items that Judy said we need to get caught up with this and put this in front of council for amendment to the handbook. So that's what this does tonight, is to change that over.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Bennett,
Second.
seconded by Alinger. Any discussion? Take the roll.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item D is a resolution approving the annual financial report for fiscal year 23-24.
So moved.
Motion by Colister.
Second.
Seconded by Bennett. If we have no discussion, take the roll.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Okay, item E is a resolution approving the 2024 street finance report for road use tax fund use on the city streets and parking.
So moved.
Motion by Colister,
Second.
seconded by Alinger. Is there any discussion? Take the roll.
Colister,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item F is a discussion and possible motion approving the annual urban renewal report fiscal year 23-24.
So moved.
Motion by Colister,
Second.
seconded by Alinger. Any discussion on this one? Take the roll.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister.
Yes.
Item G is a resolution certifying and claiming fiscal year 25-26 tax increment to reimburse the city for debt incurred and expenses advanced related to urban renewal projects authorized by the Maquoketa amended and restarted urban renewal plan.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Colister,
Second.
seconded by Lyon. Do you have anything you want to add to this? Okay.
No, this is pretty routine for us. It's just down slightly, not much, but slightly from our previous claim last year.
Okay. Well, if there's no discussion, take the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister,
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
That passes. Item H is a discussion and possible motion authorizing Citadel roof repair estimate with Case Construction in the amount of $13,800.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. John and I really didn't expect this to be over 10,000, to be honest with you, because we didn't think that there was that much damage. But the contractors we talked to all recommended doing the right thing and roofing it correctly, as opposed to just putting shingles on top and putting steel on top. And anyway, so the Citadel structure is historic, and I think there's a large group of people that appreciate its significance. And even just last week, they power washed it for a small amount of money. And I don't know if you've seen it, but it really looks a whole lot better. And so we're at a point here where I think it's important to remember we did receive a little bit of insurance damage reimbursement for the property itself. The cost to repair exceeds it some. And this would have to come out of the park CIP, but it is, I think, money well spent, and I think maybe it can send the right message that we're caring for the property. Public Works did a little bit of landscaping there already. We get it cleaned up well enough. The inside has a ways to go too. You know, we might put out a Facebook note out there that it's a really lean and efficient way to host a wedding, to have a ceremony there. So I think there's some small opportunities, but this item here would at least preserve the Citadel for quite a long time.
Okay.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Bennett,
Second.
seconded by Alinger. Is there any discussion? Take the roll.
Rickrell?
Yes.
Lyon?
Yes.
Colister?
Yes.
Alinger?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item I is a resolution awarding HVAC improvement bid to Geesey Sheet Metal in the amount of $34,600. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. This one was bid, and let me tell you, hosting HVAC contractor meetings is not easy. And Chief and I did that, and city, you remember the council goal setting? We're up to almost 80 degrees. So let me explain to you why our HVAC improvements are needed. But the PD's just as bad and worse, and they have almost a complete equipment overhaul except for one unit over there, plus a duct cleaning. So that's why the bids really range a great distance here. We recommend Geesey. Their primary equipment is Carrier. I don't know HVAC equipment, but we had a local contractor who this bid was too big for what they do, and they said there's nothing suspicious to be aware of with Carrier or anything that's been presented. So pretty happy to present this to you tonight and sign a contract so we can get moving on some HVAC improvements for City Hall and PD.
Okay,
So moved.
motion by Lyon,
Second.
seconded by Alinger. Any discussion? Then take the roll.
Lyon?
Yes.
Colister?
Yes.
Alinger?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Rickrell?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item J is a resolution setting a public hearing date of November 18th, 2024 at 6 p.m. on a proposed sale of real estate generally described as a portion of a parcel 146183130002500, Maquoketa, Iowa, approximately 12.75 acres in size, to Mississippi Valley Metals LLC for a sum of the amount $318,750.
So moved.
Motion
Second.
by Colister, seconded by Lyon. Anything you want to add, Josh?
Just thrilled to present this. It's a good opportunity, and it's possibly one of three that I'll be before you maybe by the end of the year, but we'll see what happens.
Okay, all right. If there's no discussion, take the roll.
Colister?
Yes.
Alinger?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Rickrell?
Yes.
Lyon?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item K is a resolution setting a public hearing for November 18th, 2024 at 6 p.m. on the proposed sale of real estate generally described as a portion of parcel 146183130002500, Maquoketa, Iowa, approximately 5.5 acres in size, to PWM Companies LLC in the amount of $137,500.
So moved.
Moved by Colister,
Second.
seconded by Lyon. I guess if there's
Mayor, I don't have anything further to add, but 5.5 acres is probably a little small for this transaction. They're engineering right now for truck turnaround. It's likely to be greater than that.
okay. All right, well, we have a motion, we have a second. And if there's no discussion, take the roll.
Alinger?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Rickrell?
Yes.
Lyon?
Yes.
Colister?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item L is a resolution accepting bids for the use of snow removal equipment for 24-25 snow season.
Thank you, Mayor. Jan and John bid out some help for when we have these massive snow events. Two offers were returned with a little bit of different pricing, and John will be tasked with being cost efficient, and this isn't something that on a 3-inch snow they call in help for. This is the big stuff, and this is when snow's hauled out of downtown and things are lifted on skids and into a big dump truck, and they really need the manpower to get through the snowstorm. So there's two contractors here that Public Works would like to call on. I'm not sitting here saying one or the other is recommended, but it's their bid price for hourly rate with driver that's what matters, and John will be tasked with being cost efficient with that.
Okay,
So moved.
okay, we have motion
Second.
by Alinger, seconded by Bennett. Any discussion? Then take the roll.
Bennett?
Yes.
Rickrell?
Yes.
Lyon?
Yes.
Colister?
Yes.
Alinger?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item M is a resolution accepting bids for abatement snow removal. Go ahead, Josh.
Thank you, Mayor. It might surprise you that we notified several contractors on this and still ended up with one bid. And I think it's just a sign of how busy everyone is. But this is what returned on a single bid here, and that's in front of you tonight for adoption for when we have our snow abatement orders.
Okay.
It's no surprise, but it's the same person as last year, and everything that, the issues we had last year that we corrected, was that discussed going into this year?
That's why we were trying to recruit multiple offers on this, but we'll have a pre-season meeting about that and continue on.
So moved.
Okay, we had a motion by Colister,
Second?
seconded by Bennett. Any discussion? Then take the roll.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item N is a resolution appointing Tom Eserly as a member of the Waste Authority of Jackson County Board.
So moved.
Motion by Colister, seconded by Bennett. Any discussion? Take the roll.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item O is a resolution approving the collection of payment for city costs to abate nuisances and enforce ordinances.
So moved.
Motion by Colister,
Second?
seconded by Bennett. Any discussion here? Take the roll.
Colister,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon.
Yes.
That passes. Item P is a resolution approving change order number 2 increase in the amount of $3,931 and change order number 3 in the amount of $2,530 submitted by Sheets Construction for the Sunshine Learning Center project. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is just change order number 2 and number 3. This is for paperwork registration item and also defective sound insulation in the ceiling. So they're in demo phase right now at Sunshine and having a lot of fun doing it. But for future reference, I told them they don't need to itemize every single change that comes up. They can wrap it up into one larger item for future. You know, I think we've had enough of that. We're on change order 20-something or whatever on other projects. So that's not going to be the goal here. But if you're curious about why there's 2 different ones, that's why. That's just the way it came in. And
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Bennett,
Second.
seconded by Alinger. Any discussion? And take the roll.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. We make it out to 11, reports and communications. Do we have any reports from any of the council members? Nope. How about the city manager?
probably the biggest thing to note is just leaves start next week is the start of leaf season.
Yep. Monday's Veterans Day. We have Monday off. We will actually be starting on Tuesday, but street sweeper's been out and will continue to be out all of the whole month of November.
Okay, very good. All right, we're gonna take a little pause here before we go into closed session. We have to get our legal counsel on the phone.
City Attorney Doug Herman wished to be put into the record that it's a valid item to go into closed session for. Hey Doug, it's Josh Bolton, City Council here.
Good evening, everybody.
We're still in open session here, so if you can confirm what you wanted to state on item 12, we'll start there.
Absolutely. Your agenda tonight includes a closed session, and for the record, it's important for your legal counsel, especially when the closed session is to discuss matters with legal counsel, to note on the record that I've reviewed the topic you want to discuss and find that it's appropriate for purposes of entering closed session. So to be clear, what we're going to talk about is not a matter presently in litigation, but where litigation is imminent. So it is appropriate tonight to go into closed session to discuss the potential imminent litigation where its disclosure would be likely to prejudice or disadvantage the position of the government body in that litigation. So with that, you can there can be a motion, a second to go into closed session, and a vote to that effect.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Colister,
Second.
seconded by Rickrell to go into closed session. If there's no discussion, take the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister,
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Okay, we are in closed session. All right, we'll go back into open session. It is 6:53. Back in open session, our agenda item is a possible motion to proceed as advised by legal counsel in our closed session.
So moved.
Motion by Colister, seconded by Bennett. Any discussion on that? Then take the roll.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
All right, that passes, and I take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Everybody. All right, Colister,
The count.
Colister motioned it, Bennett seconded.
Okay.
And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Thanks, Doug.